I'll fix my camera for that. Steiny and Guru joined by Willard and Dibs, and I didn't realize this, but the betting line is
double
out.
Dibs right now on YouTube.
The betting line is... and it's got two separate camera angles.
Yeah, close-up dibs and distant dibs. Yeah.
Let me get out.
And YouTube numbers going up.
I need that one before, man.
I'm clearly in the minority. I think he's going to get 2 or 3 games, but everybody seems to think he's getting more than that.
I think he's getting more than that.
He's getting 10.
Can you believe? No doubt.
He's getting 10. And last time it broke in our show, so stay tuned to Willard and Dibs. Last time it was like 5:15.
5:10. 5:10.
Yeah.
Look at my guy.
Here's my first question.
And 12 seconds.
Why would Steiny think 3 games?
I'll tell you why.
Because he's thrown many.
I'll tell you why, and I know what.
2 weeks ago.
I'll tell you why.
It was an
and
accident.
I guarantee you, if Willard would have said the same thing, you'll say, wow.
You got this little bit going, but anyway.
Well, when I say things.
I'm not
the E.F. Hutton of this station.
Tell me why.
Even though they say past actions matter, that to me is a way for the league to give itself some wiggle room of really hitting a guy if you need to hit him. And I do think that when we look at intent, this one, I do think it was kind of an accident. Does it mean he shouldn't
get out of here?
Well, I'm just telling you.
I mean,
to me, this was less egregious than what he did to Gobert.
Oh, I agree completely.
Okay, all right. So time out. Now, this is what it's all about to me. If what you're telling me is Gobert's a 5, then without any context, that's got to be a 2 or 3.
Yeah, but there is context.
I know.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to that context.
Yep.
So now we get to the context, and it becomes 8 games because of past. So what you're telling me now is you're going to overpenalize him, even if the last infraction is less than the previous infraction.
I don't think the last one was a 5. I think that was an overpunishment.
Okay.
5 was an overpunishment that reflected his history.
So,
and they stated as much.
If we can ignore, let's say the incident though itself, guys, we all deem is...
Oh, the incident itself is maybe a 1.
Okay, so...
On a scale of
he's a rookie that's not gotten in trouble before, I don't even know if that's a suspension.
I kind of agree.
What happened last night?
Oh, it's for sure a game.
That's an ejection.
He turned around
or a flagrant. It's a flagrant
and clocked the guy in the face.
Man. Yeah, like no look. I mean, that's not...
there was a look.
Come on, man.
I mean,
it's a nothing burger if he's not Draymond.
To me, this was not a loss of balance flail.
No.
This was I got pushed, collect, turn, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Brandon Pajemski did that,
it's a game.
Maybe.
No, it was a 2, flagrant 2.
Yeah.
He punched. Like I could
I'm
go
not
to the
minimizing
chalkboard
it.
and say,
I know.
Oh, whoopsie doopsie. Oh, I caught you.
We're not talking about 5 or 10 game suspension if this was a rookie.
Mark, I'm scared it could be more than 10 for the Warriors.
I am too.
This popped off a month ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling Steph with that call, like, you're back in my courtroom. And I'm starting to think the league is looking at the Warriors, since you guys are timid and not going to do anything, we're going to drop the hammer. First takes lead. Not like everybody's saying Perkins, okay, he's a nobody. He's saying 25 games. Like, there's got to be a message somewhere, man.
You guys want to hear the odds?
I would love to.
Yes, but I
okay, we can hold it. Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess what I'm saying is if let's say Draymond Green does something next that's marginal but suspension worthy, you're telling me he gets suspended
incrementally more
each time, even though the offense is lighter.
It depends on the offense. To me, and if you look at his last 26 games of basketball, 26 games, including the postseason, he's got a punch of Nurkic, he's got a choke of Gobert, and he has a stomp of Sabonis. Stomp, choke, punch. Stomp, choke, punch. One more time.
Is this a chant?
Stomp, choke, punch.
Okay.
And so you're telling me you go from stomp, 1 game, playoffs, choke, 5 games, you were defending a teammate, punch, I lost my balance, 10, and what's the next one? Is it a body slam?
I guess what I'm saying is if it's failure to leave the court in a timely manner, you're telling me they can suspend him for 5 games because of that?
No, but you're a parent. You know how this works.
Speak on it, Mark.
You know how this works, right?
And Mark's in there right now.
I may as well be the enabler.
The kid breaks the curfew.
Steve Kerr.
The kid breaks the curfew. Curfew's 11 o'clock. Kid comes home at midnight.
Okay.
And have been doing this now. We're doing this for a year. Okay. We've been battling on this, and the punishments keep going up. And then you finally have the come to Jesus conversation. Listen, kid, this is the deal. This is my house. I make the rules, and if you would like to live and eat the food under this roof, you have got to live by these rules. Come to Jesus conversation. Kid says, Dad, I hear you. I'm sorry for everything that brought us to this moment, and I am going to change.
Okay.
2 nights later.
Yes.
11:20 for an 11 o'clock curfew.
Okay.
Oh, the hammer's coming down.
Down.
Okay.
Because this boundary needs to be established. And I think firmly that that's what the NBA is thinking today.
See, you're probably right. I look at it as, let's say the last incident was Gobert. Okay? And you're the father of Gobert. And you said, Rudy,
I'm tall.
Rudy, you got to get in by midnight.
Yeah.
But it's Draymond. So what Draymond does, the equivalent to what Draymond did with Gobert wasn't coming in at 12:15. Draymond came in at 5 in the morning.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He came in at 5 in the morning, and then it's like, well, that's a 5-gamer. Draymond, you got to, okay. So then 2 nights later, he's 10 minutes late. You can't give him 10 games.
Oh, this is not 10 minutes late.
Sure you can.
This is not 10 minutes late.
But see, I think it's less. But you agree with me? It's less egregious than Gobert.
Oh no, there's no doubt.
Okay. Oh, it's way more egregious than Gobert.
No, but
without a doubt, it's way worse than Gobert. He was defending a teammate, and he held on to Gobert a little bit too long.
But he choked a guy and dragged him a quarter of the floor. Like, no, this is the way I look at it.
But there was honor in that, Willard. He was trying to defend.
I agree with you,
That's an emotional
You can make
opinion.
an argument he dropped Nurkic.
But
I think he dropped him.
From behind. I mean, guys, it doesn't even matter is kind of my point. Wouldn't we all agree that the Gobert suspension, which you call a 5, I don't think that was a 5 for the act. In fact, you guys are sitting here calling it honorable right now.
It was the Donovan Mitchell thing.
It was the first time that the league wrote down on a piece of paper, we are no longer suspending you for just your acts. We are suspending you for who you have become. And we are telling you firmly that you are not allowed to be this person anymore. And he waited about the equivalent of 4 seconds before gone and done it again.
Well, it's actually 4 weeks to the day.
And he's
4 weeks.
The league is going to be offended by that. It is essentially the kid looking at the dad and being like, the hell you going to do about it? And the league's going to go, oh, this is what we're going to do about it.
And what are you going to do about it, Dad?
Because
10 games.
Mom is the Warriors and she's not doing anything
Double-digit games.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 weeks to the day. So 4 weeks ago, he choked Rudy Gobert. Whatever. He was running to his teammate's defense, and then he grabbed Rudy, and he dragged him for a quarter of the floor, whatever he did. And Rudy's poor eyes were bugging out. Shout out, bugging out. And 4 weeks later, now he loses his balance, and he comes around, and he just straight clocks Nurkic.
But Nurkic is strong as hell, as he said.
Sure. And think about Draymond's victims in terms of what a bully does. Nurkic, Euro. Gobert, Euro. Jordan Poole, young player and dramatically undersized. Steven Adams, Kiwi. I mean, Draymond finds these people who he inflicts his acts upon who don't fight back. To me, it's an easy 10.
KD?
Well, KD fought back, and that's why Draymond got a game.
Well, yeah, and I would not. It doesn't matter, but I would.
That was
I
verbal.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Steven Adams in there because I think Draymond doesn't want any part of Steven Adams. You know what I mean?
Which is why he kicked him in the balls.
Right, but what I'm saying is he
didn't come at him like come at him.
Like he wasn't going to come at Steven Adams like Jordan Poole.
No.
Yeah. No, I got you. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Mark, I want to see those odds.
You want to listen to the odds? All right, so here they are. And again, you take these with a grain of salt or a big old brick through the wall, whichever you want. And these come from your guy's boy, Jimmy Shapiro. So he sent this out about three hours ago. How long will Draymond Green be suspended? Plus 100. So, in other words, the most likely of answers on the board.
Okay.
Even though still less than 50-50, but the likeliest of all the groups. Plus 100, 21 to 30 games.
What?
Plus 100.
Oh, my goodness
21.
gracious.
That's actually even
games.
money.
Yeah.
Even money.
You bet 100, you get 100.
Yep.
Slight tick up, plus 150. Slight tick up, plus 150, 11 to 20 games. Now, quite a leap. Quite a leap to plus 500. So, in other words, you can bet 100 and make 500.
Yeah.
If?
1 to 10 games.
Oh, God, I want to jump on that.
Totally right.
Only a slight tick less likely.
This one I want to jump on.
Plus 600 is 31 to 40
Yeah, not
games.
that one.
Yeah,
Almost the remainder of the
The
season.
last one
That
you
ain't
want.
happening.
Yes.
Plus 900, 9 to 1, rest of the year. And then the unlikeliest of all things at plus 3,300.
I kind of would. Tell me.
No suspension at all.
I actually think it's more within the realm of possibility he doesn't get suspended, that he gets suspended 31 or more games.
Oh, I'm not getting 31 or more. But it is startling to see that there's a house out there taking bets at even money of 21 to 30 games.
Can we
I will
all
not
agree?
be surprised in 3 hours if they suspend him for 25.
I guess
I'm not saying I'm not
those
predicting it.
Those odds,
I will not be
the
surprised.
season will really be.
those
it'll
odds
be
mean I won't
finished.
be surprised. But wow,
I will not be surprised.
How about this? If I say what I'm going to say, you guys are going to be like, well, duh, no kidding. But so there's no measuring of intent anymore with Draymond. Like, intent doesn't matter.
No. I mean,
Okay.
what is the intent of any act from any athlete?
I'm just saying,
when it comes to intent,
Right.
it comes down to the individual and asking them what the intent was. And when you look at Draymond Green and you think about all of the other acts that he's committed on the floor, then intent goes out the window.
Okay.
Because you have to
that's fine.
assume that
I just wanna know that.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking about in terms of the league. So you've got all of these incidents where he has committed flagrants, he's been ejected, and he's done what he's done on the court. And then you add in the sprinkle of Jordan Poole in a practice, and you think about intent, and now you've got a player 4 weeks removed from a choke and 4 months removed from a stomp, and now we don't even have to worry about intent. Who cares about intent?
Well, good. I get that. I totally get that. But intent does matter for a lot of other players. Would you agree with that?
Of course.
Okay. So that gets me back to one of my originals is the league's out to get him. That in and of itself is not out to get him, but
Yeah,
if
I
you're
don't
telling me
agree
they're
with
going to go boom, 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 boom.
Are there
then
separate rules for him? Yes.
Okay, then we have a problem as a team.
Yes.
Like forget anybody, then that's just a tangible issue that this guy might do something that ordinarily would cost him a game. It's going to cost him 10 now, which means it costs us 10.
Exactly.
Because I really do think we can judge anything we want. I really do think, he grabbed Gobert, he choked him, and he walked him back 10 yards. I was like, damn. Last night, I think there's a scenario in which you could look and be like, he flailed and he hit him in the head, and to me, it wasn't in the same severity note. Well, you know what? We get that, and we agree with you. It may not have been as nasty, but too bad it's Draymond, so it's twice as many
Did he
games.
rush over after the contact with Nurkic? Did he immediately charge over and oh my god!
Here's my question.
Oh my God.
Here's my question. If somebody in the league office looks at Gobert and then looks at Nurkic and makes an assumption that they agree with, not saying it's right, and the assumption is, you know what, the Gobert thing was more vicious and it looked like there was more intent, and they acknowledge that, do they still hit him with twice as many games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I want to know.
Heard of three strikes
Okay,
and how it works.
that's
The third
fine.
strike could be still in a Snicker bar.
I just
it
want to know.
doesn't matter.
That's fine.
It's redundant that you keep. That's all.
Okay.
Like I always kind of balk at this when people go, "Oh, there's got to be the same rules for everybody." No, there doesn't.
Right.
No, there doesn't. Where the hell does that exist?
Because Steiny was almost like
the same
they
rules
were picking on Dre.
for everybody. Yes.
No.
He has well earned that.
Man.
Of course there are Draymond rules. Of course there are. Just like the Pistons had Jordan rules, and just like every class clown has separate rules, and you have separate rules for each of your kids because they need it. Some of them don't, and some of them do. Like, of course there are different rules for Draymond. That is well-traveled, well-earned. And he's got no one to blame for that but himself.
I don't feel like I'm doing a good job of explaining myself. All I want to know is, let's say last night Joe Schmo does what Draymond did. And we say, well, Joe Schmo may not even have gotten suspended.
Slap on the hand.
Okay, well, not even gotten suspended. Yes. Joe Schmo. I want to know, because it's Draymond, you know what? We got to hit him more than Joe Schmo. Okay. Well, hitting him more than Joe Schmo is 3 games. That would be a severe punishment for a Joe Schmo. But no, it's Draymond. So because it's Draymond, it has to be a greater punishment than his last infraction, even if his last infraction were more egregious.
See,
totally.
that's a judgment.
I got to be honest. I don't think that's fair at all.
That's a judgment that you're making that I don't agree with. Wow. I think this infraction.
I'm asking the question.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Even if they think that this infraction was
correct,
the same as the choke, or even less egregious as the choke, they've already put on the record that they are using his past as a guideline to suspend.
Right.
So you got 5 for a choke, and 4 weeks later, now you're punching an opponent in their eyes. It's a flagrant 2, whatever you want to call it. So now you're not going to give him 3. You're going to give him 5
and
at least.
You got nothing for punching your own teammate. Don't forget.
Well, that has nothing to do with the league.
Well, you skated on that. But the league is looking at that, Steiny.
I don't look at what?
Looking at the fact that the Warriors didn't do anything on that one.
But they didn't do any. The league didn't do anything with Jordan Poole.
That's why I'm saying when Willard says it could be 25 today, you don't know if they're taking that into account, which I believe they are.
They might. They very well might be.
This is out of control.
Indirectly, I do think that it affects what the league is doing.
My goodness.
Because when, like, for instance, what the league does with John Morant, that's an image issue. John Morant, I know that there's legalities there, but John Morant, even though there have been all of these images that you could argue the damage of them, it's not like he has not physically hurt anyone with those. He's not done anything on the court with those, but the league is like, we're not having this. So when you punch Jordan Poole and then you start taking stuff to the court, I think all of it is in the same bucket. And yes, I do think that there are different rules for him, and you're right that weakens who he is for the Warriors because, for example, look what the Niners did to DK Metcalf on Sunday. They knew. Kyle Shanahan said Christmas present for whoever gets him to go over the top because we know that he will. So you're telling me now, if you're an opponent, I'm going to grab Draymond's jersey on every possession because I know I can get him kicked out of the game and the next 3 weeks of action.
All right, I got one for you.
Cake.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
A month from now, the Warriors are in a game and Draymond's on the bench, and there's a fight. And he gets up to go help the fight, and he takes one step over the line, like a lot of players do. Yeah. And guess what? They get hit for a game usually.
Yeah.
Will he get hit for 10 games?
No, just one.
That's a different act. And what does he do when he steps over the line? Does he choke someone again?
Exactly.
Sure, something untoward.
I mean, or does
you're playing the percentages?
Or is he an innocent bystander who goes in and grabs his teammate and walks him to the locker room?
Then 20 games.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. It's physical acts of violence on the court.
But the Warriors are in the news for the wrong reasons, and I'm telling Steiny all day today, this is bad for business.
Of course it is.
It is just, and they don't do anything to him.
We should make sure
they don't do
But it hasn't been bad for business
bad.
Before today.
No, it's good for our business. Bad for their business.
It has been. It's been bad for business for a while.
But I don't think it's been like I don't think it's been like this till now.
Oh, I think it's been the last.
Well, the punch was terribly bad.
No, but what I'm seeing now is an organization overwhelmed by frustration.
Man.
And that's not just Draymond. That's everybody. Bob Myers, gone. Steve Kerr, no contract. Clay can't keep his emotions about him. What the hell are you doing, TNT, by the way, that apparently Clay's freaking out on the bench last night and you didn't show it on TV?
Oh, my goodness, you're right.
What on earth? So Klay Thompson can't get a hold of his frustrations. Andrew Wiggins can't even seem sometimes to mentally and sometimes physically show up. And now you have Draymond Green, who has been given the ultimate shape up or ship out and can't change one iota. They're getting short with each other. They're getting short with the media.
Man.
They are overwhelmed by frustration. And it's similar to what I said a couple of weeks ago. It is the opposite of what made me as a fan fall in love with this team. For years, it was they play with joy, they're moving, they're unselfish, the ball's all over the place, and it's a beautiful brand of basketball. Now it's just guys.
The fans are fed up too.
Now everybody's just pissed
Nobody's
off.
called to defend them one time today. Normally you get it sprinkled. Even I'm telling you, man.
I saw a little bit of it on my Twitter feed. A couple of people like, what's he supposed to do? His jersey's getting pulled, and he lost his balance and all that. And, the fact that Draymond apologized may make it go from 10 games down to 7, but he's getting something. And I think Mark hit on the overarching real problem, which is frustration, because Klay's frustrated and Draymond's frustrated.
Look at Looney.
And Andrew Wiggins still has a uniform.
Dibs, Looney, I was telling Steiny, he just had a look of like, will you look at, I'm speaking
he
for
had
Looney.
that all
Will you
last
look
year.
at this? Like,
They all knew.
and
last
I'm on
year.
the bench, just like it's happening again. Almost like, I was just like, man, I wonder what's going through his
I've
mind.
seen. You know what? I'm being a jerk, but I've seen that look all year from Draymond, especially last year. Like, guys are tired of
side eye.
What's happening when Andre Iguodala made the gesture when he went over and said something to LeBron? Like, I really do think that a lot of guys are. They can't just be over it because he's a teammate, but I do think I think Kevon Looney's been rolling his eyes at Draymond for a year and a half since the punch. Just it ain't right, and Looney's a good guy, and I don't know what they do.
And they're 10-13, guys. Lost that game last night.
Gutsy comeback.
Let's just do it. I guess I'll stay by 3 games, even though that looks like a
I'm
terrible
going 10.
one.
I'm with
10
you,
for you,
10.
Goo.
Yep.
It's 10.
10. Oh.
It's. I mean,
Willard, what'd you say?
No. It's 10, and it's to think that it's 3.
Okay, it's 10 then.
No, I mean, no. You can be
Evan
right.
said 5.
You know what? If it's 3, I'll come on. I'll give you your flowers.
No, I don't want them.
Yeah, it's
Flowers not accepted.
especially for a guy. Don't steal from my brother. And you've tried to co-opt that expression as a guy who never once committed
leaving.
a flagrant once for you.
That's a good question.
And I was going to bring up the
Only
house
one-
party you had in terms of
I gotta go.
you
Like
did.
my mom and dad,
bag's not
after
even on your
35
shoulder.
years,
I've never seen you
just
do it.
got
but,
over that
you actually
party.
took the headset off.
Yeah. it
Steve
came back.
Berkowitz
Put
fell
the
down
bag
and hit
on
his
the
head.
shoulder, Steiny.
Roger Crawford.
I always forget.
Dad was a police chief.
Who's the
Thank
big
you.
guy?
John Charlton
Thank you.
fell into the
Who's the big man?
in-ground
Who's
pool.
the big guy in your team who you always disrespect on Franklin? and
Ed
Marshall?
Lackman.
Thank you, Ed Lackman.
Eddie, I love you. He's a doctor now. Who's got the last
Ed
laugh?
Lackman couldn't catch a cold in a COVID ward. That's my.
He did
bad.
make
That's-
one big move in the MAC championship on Reno Brueggemann, who was the co-player of the year in the
These are my
conference with
favorite.
me.
These are not
But
real
I gotta
names.
see. You know
These are
what?
not
I
real
don't even
names.
have to say I'm leaving
when
now.
When he
You
goes
want to
to
talk more
Ed
about my
Lackman
college
stories,
career?
I love
Didn't
it.
think so.
Anytime you go to Ed Lackman, I'm in.
That's not real.